Hey, enduring name. This time with the San Antonio Spurs logo. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the tutorial right away because this logo is much shorter than some of my other videos. And there's a lot to this logo. It's very detailed. So, yeah, I need every second to kind of walk you guys through it. Okay, right now my main goal is to get the focal point of the logo, which I believe is the U or the spur, like the combination U spur. And I guess my main goal is to get that as close to the actual logo as possible. I want to focus a lot of my layers on building that U correctly. And really that's going to be the bulk of this video, is creating that U and creating that spur at the bottom. I don't focus much attention on the other letters at all. In fact, I use the stock letters mostly because they're very close to the actual font of the Spurs letters as is. So there's no sense in wasting tons of layers doing the other letters, whereas this letter is the most detailed. So right now I'm just building the border. That's how I build the U, is I just build the border of the U. I don't have like gray rectangles on top of larger black rectangles or anything. I just build the border with, small black rectangles and some other shapes here and there. The reason I do that is because I tried the other way and it just ended up looking pretty bad. So I found this to be the way to get it as close to the actual logo as possible. Just building that border. Know that because this letter is sharing space with the other four letters, and yeah, I said four, I don't build the San Antonio above it. In fact, I don't build a border either. So we're just going to be dealing with the U and then the four letters. And I just had to make that compromise. So back to what I was saying. Keep in mind that the U shares space with four other letters. So that's why this logo looks rather small right now. And it's kind of unfortunate. I wish I could just make the U and the spur. That would be great because I could get them all very detailed and get everything aligned properly. But it's going to be much tougher when dealing with these small tools. And frankly, because they're so small, they get pixelated easily, so that adds to the complication. But again, with all my logos, you just gotta fight through some of that, as I did. By the way, I should probably tell you now, the final version of this that you will see in this video is a little misaligned. And by that I mean that you should probably start making that a little to the left of where I've made it. If you're making it exactly on top of where I've made it, you're going to end up having a logo like mine, which kind of cuts off the rightmost S. So in that curved Spurs logo, the rightmost S is kind of cut off a little bit because I just aligned it a little wrong. By the way, if you guys want a more general Spurs logo that doesn't focus so much on the detail of this one letter, but focuses more on like the border or maybe the San Antonio up above or the outlines of the letters, let me know. I just didn't go that route because I felt like the most interesting thing in the actual logo was the spur. That's the most interesting thing. When you look at it, that's what your eye is drawn to, at least more than anything else in the logo. So that's my reasoning. But if you would like me to do a more general version of logo, a version that's more zoomed out, I guess you could say, let me know, because I could do that video. Here I'm just making the outline of the U. I said I wasn't making the outlines or the borders or anything, with the exception of the U. I try to make that as detailed as possible. And in fact, in some logos I saw on the internet, it had the outline for the U, but none of the other letters. So I felt comfortable with it. By the way, you just saw me adjust the star a little bit. What I was doing, so you know, is I was covering up the bottom left corner of that diamond with the white, the outermost star, the white star. I was covering up the corner of the diamond. Otherwise, that corner would have jutted out uncomfortably. It would have looked way bad. And now I'm jumping into coloring the inside of the U. You know, of course, once I lay that white diamond underneath it, it turned the color to white, but the color of that U is supposed to be gray. So I use 3 rectangles to I basically take 3 rectangles and put them within the borders of the U, and that's how I changed the color back to what it should be. And when you do that, just work with it a little bit. You know, if your rectangles that you use to fill the color are falling out a little too much, maybe change the border a little bit. Though you might have the rectangles protrude from the border, protrude from the border just a little bit. And in fact, I think I have that in my logo, but I wasn't too concerned with it, especially because once you change that color of gray from a darker color that it is now to a lighter color, which I'll do later in the video, you won't notice any protruding gray as much. And again, I said I just used the stock letters. I mean, they were so close as is, the letters, the S and the P and the R and the other S. I just used those. The only difference between the S's is the middle section. In the actual logo, the middle section of the S is like horizontal, like completely, or it's parallel to the top and bottom of the S. Here, the S's middle section are at an angle. And you can see I copy and pasted a P where the R should be. What I do is, because the R that they give you was more off than the S's that they give you, so for the R I actually kind of make my custom R. I use a P, and then that little right leg of the R I use another tool to create. And you just look at the actual logo and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, that's about going to wrap things up. The only other change I make will be to the gray colors. I just make them a little bit lighter, which is how they are in the actual logo. Yeah, that does it. Let me know if you want to see a more general version of the Spurs logo that's less focused on the U, and that's just more general and has the border and whatnot. Upcoming videos, guys, are going to be the Atlanta Falcons logo, the Miami Heat, the Broncos, and the Arizona Cardinals. And also I'm going to do a superhero, and you might have seen it there, the Flash. And actually I'm probably going to do more superheroes in the future. Stay tuned.